like to welcome Coral Amoran from Today FM, who's going to be emceeing the later part of our proceedings. Can I also exchange a welcome to students from the Centre for Entrepreneurship and Innovation in the Hock Graduate School at the University of Florida, who've joined us today. And I know Jamie Jonathan Kraft, I believe, is leading the group of students, so you're particularly welcome. And this is also being recorded and will be available on the web, so those of you looking on the web, can I welcome you too. DIT Hot House, our Innovation and Technology Transfer Centre, is central to the supports that DIT provides through our Hot House Ventures programme and assists researchers to commercialise their research. And it's been a truly successful activity and quite internationally recognised for that. Since 2001, DIT Hot House has created over 300 companies, and those companies have in total created over 1,000 jobs, so that's not no mean achievement. And currently we have over 50 technologies available to license across areas of information communication technologies, life sciences, industrial technology and clean technologies. And if you're a budding entrepreneur and looking for intellectual property, we certainly have that. And my colleague Tom Flanagan, who's on the front row here in a rather distinguished yellow tie, will be able to point you in the direction of those things if you're looking for ideas and technologies that are right for exploitation. It's my particular pleasure to introduce the Minister for Jobs, Enterprise Innovation, Richard Bruton, TD, to say a few words. Minister.
I think there's lots of ways in which we have to fix our model if we are to encourage people like yourselves to take on the creation of enterprise. Though we have to work on fixing the banks. Long term, we cannot survive on a banking system that became obsessed with property. We need a banking system that is obsessed with exporting and setting up businesses. And that is a task for government as we not only recapitalise the banks, but repair and re-educate the banking system into what is really important for an enterprise economy. We need to have a much more supportive environment. Clearly, the state can do some of that supporting. But I think it is important that institutions, whether they be colleges like this, build entrepreneurship into their thinking so that people, when they leave a college like this, not only have a skill, whatever it is that has been learned, but know the sort of basics of what it takes to set up a business, what might be the pitfalls, what you need to look out for, what you need to prepare. Another weakness, and I suspect it also is a little bit a characteristic of this audience, is that the proportion of women who start up a business in Ireland is much lower than it is, for example, in the United States.
I was part of the Hot House 20. We finished up there in September, and we've got a number of people testing the platform for us at the moment. We've just signed a license deal with the NASDAQ. There's loads of exciting stuff happening, and it keeps the blood boiling,
When you're setting up initially, and again, maybe it was a wee bit different for you, Eamon, that there was a business there, first of all, but it's a scary place. That's a statement with it, which is a question built into it. And have you ever said to yourself, what am I doing? Would I not be better off being a civil servant somewhere?
Yeah, probably at the moment every week, but, it's more a reality check than anything else. I wouldn't
Would you have it any other way?
No, I wouldn't have it any other way. At the end of the day, I'm a proud father of a 4-month-old child. Being involved in a family business and a startup means I am my own boss. So for the last 5 years, I've never taken a day off. You get into the business, you think entrepreneurship is great. You're your own boss. You can go surfing on the weekends. You can do this. You can do that. You never do any of it. But now, when it matters, I can turn around and say, well, I'm not going to work today. I'll work tomorrow or do something else. So no, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Data Electronics, Irish company, indigenous business, sold 8 weeks ago for €100 million. It's bought by Teddy City Group, who are the largest data centre provider in Europe. They're quoted on the London Stock Exchange. Their market capitalisation is currently standing at 1.4 billion. I suppose as good stories go, in this current climate, it probably doesn't get much better from that perspective. It also shows, I think, that there are businesses out there that are well-financed and quite prepared to invest in Irish companies that are in the Irish economy, working in the Irish economy, if they feel they're strategic and also if they feel there's some high growth potential there. We brought in some really, really clever people into our business along the way that added real strategic value and innovation and really, really contributed to the growth of the company. So if I reflect on it, in the 10 years since we started that business, we managed to grow the revenues by 400%. We acquired one business along the way. We became the fastest growing technology company in the country. We were sold for 100 million. So what are the lessons that I've learned? You need to have a really good product or service. That's a quintessential for any good business. You need to have some very, very good people working for you. You need to get customers, and customers have to stay with you, so they've got to be loyal. So your service has to be continuing to be good. And you've got to really have a willingness and adapt to change. And if I had a message that I'd like to leave with before we go to any panel discussion, is you've got to believe in yourselves, have the courage of your convictions, and never stop trying. Thank you.
The three reasons why you will succeed. There you go. My inspiration. I was asked to inspire, so I'm inspiring now. And if you're not inspired, tough. Integrity. Integrity means, for me, is never doing anything off that, never doing anything duplicitous, never doing a little backhand deal. It was much easier for me to walk down Grafton Street with, let's just say, for want of a word, $100 million in my pocket, doing it honestly, than with $200 million in my pocket, having done some sort of duplicitous deal. But we were offered opportunities, because what we were doing was, we were the market. So we were doing 40 and 50% of the business into a lot of the hostels around the world. So if you weren't dealing with us, or if you could get your ranking higher, you would do an awful lot more business. Therefore, the value of getting on well with us was quite good. But we never took the bribes, and that stood to us. We have cop on. Nobody else has cop on like Irish people have cop on, in terms of our ability to think on our feet and solve a problem. Big economies survive because they are big, not because they're brilliant. Last time I checked, the Yanks are not the most intelligent people in the world, neither are the Germans or the Brits. There are just more of them. They can buy from each other, and that's called an economy. The Irish economy, it's a pity. If I had my choice, I'd drag Ireland and connect it to Europe a bit more, because we wouldn't feel like we had to be an economy. There are no economies of scale. There's nothing rational about doing business in Ireland. People make decisions that are not rational. We buy off our cousins, or we don't buy off our cousins, or we make decisions that are not pure market forces. The moaning, my poor boy had to go and go to London to get a job, or go to America, or go to Australia. Look, between the young people in this, like, get over yourselves. The American kid who goes to an Ivy League college has about 15% chance of working anywhere near where his mammy lives. And Thanksgiving was created to get families back together so they could see their mammies again. The fact that we have to go across a river or go across an ocean to our jobs, the kid who goes to Harvard and works in San Francisco has a longer trip than we have to get to New York. So it makes us a better country. It makes the stuff that you bring back, do come back, because it's a great country. But don't be afraid to go, and we shouldn't moan. Like, air travel is doable, so we should get out there and experiment and see what is available. Certainly, if you travel, I used to bring a notebook and I'd come back with 20 things that really worked in America and try and copy them. And I would try to do that. I mean, most entrepreneurs do not do brand new, brilliant things. It's not always the Rubik's Cube. You're brilliant, you're young, use the energy that you have, get out there and do it. Self-employed is it's not a job, it's a vocation. You will enjoy starting a business, and I wholeheartedly recommend it, not least of which you can drive fast cars and things like that. Thank you.
Do we have a first question?
Two questions, actually. First one to Ray. Just in relation to the speed at which you were able to penetrate the world markets globally and get into each of those countries, I mean, how did you achieve that level of kind of penetration on the ground? I mean, had you people on the ground, and did you put together a big team, or how essentially did you get such a high level of penetration so quickly? Okay, so HostelWorld, we had no money starting off, so the big thing is how do you get global domination with no money? So we were quite clever. First of all, we would find the key hostels in every city, and we'd go in and make sure we'd love them up. We couldn't afford the time to visit all the hostels and make them all want to be with us. So we would make sure that 2 or 3 big guys were with us, and then the small guys always came. So we were able to take trips that would be could have been a 4-day trip to Copenhagen, and say, well, no, we can only do 1 day in Copenhagen. So we pick those guys, and we know that if we get the big guys, the small guys will go, Jesus, we better follow them. Starting a brand from scratch is very, very expensive.
It's nothing to drop 20 million to build a brand. Look at colour, look at some of the new things that are out there. So what we do is, we said, we'll power everybody else. So we powered Ryanair, Lonely Planet, Let's Go. So we spent a lot of time getting a relationship with these other big travel providers and putting our technology behind their site. And then slowly but surely, we made those customers ours. So the person who booked on Ryanair on day one may have seen a totally white label experience. They believe they're booking on Ryanair and so on. And then over a period of time, they may see, by accident of technology, a HostelWorld logo on the page, and then they go, gosh, if I booked with HostelWorld, maybe I get a better deal, and coincidentally, the price was better on HostelWorld. And so the customers became HostelWorld customers, and that meant that we didn't have to do as much brand building. We leveraged everybody else's brand, so much cheaper.
Second question to Maurice, just in relation to the capital that you took in, at what kind of price in relation to an equity stake did they take, and did you then have a buyback option on that, or was that a straight kind of equity that they held on to?
I suppose if we'd gone through with the equity investment, it would have given us the money to invest in the build out of the second site. What transpired was a 100% cash sale, effectively. So all our old traditional founders and private investors were all exiting on the deal. So effectively, what has happened is that the strategic investment that Telecity are making, apart from buying the business for 100 million, is that they do have the capital to invest in the growth of the business. So it ended up turning into something that we hadn't initially thought it was.
I'm going to ask you to give the guests today a big round of applause.
What's worked best for us is building a team. From start, I'm from a commercial background. I needed to build a stock trading game, and I needed a technical person to do that. So adding more people into it, you get to share in the successes, but it's the downside and where the problems start to exist that they're easily fixed. Many heads make light work.
There are fundamental business criteria you have to get right in an existing business, which probably wasn't there, which you put in place. So we got the finances sorted out. We got some good clients. We had some pretty good products. We had some good loyalty with the clients that we had. But it was becoming very, very commoditized. So we needed to look at a new product and a new service offering. The danger was that we were just going to end up with a renewal and a decline of what we had. So the thing was we had to move. And in order to do that, it was a massive step to go to the next stage, which is one of the reasons why we took on all the private investment and ultimately diluted control of the business. But what we ended up with over those 10 years was an awful lot more than we would have had, I would have said, if we kept going the way we were. We mightn't even have had a business.
Well, I think, there's lots of different styles of doing business. I think Irish people particularly have exhibited integrity in the past. I think there's, you can always be duplicitous. You can always nearly do a deal with a guy and then copy everything he's done before. We had people try to do it on us a number of times. I think staying true to it makes it's not there are no lies, there's no duplicitous, there's not half as much energy sapping, to be honest, and to have integrity than it is to be slightly ducking and diving to avoid the issue.
Well, the one thing that I suppose maybe an example might be a good idea. In 2008 we were finalists in the Irish Internet Association Awards for online marketing. Our marketing budget was €500. That included purchasing domains and SSL certificates, so we spent nothing on marketing. And we came second only to Rabo Direct, which is the 12th biggest bank in the world. One thing that I see time and time again, and a lot of the people that I've seen in this situation have ended up failing at business, is an obsession with funding and an obsession with investment. At the end of the day, if your business model doesn't work on a really small scale, it's unlikely to work at a very big scale either. So my advice to students and young entrepreneurs and people looking to get into business is to start from the ground up. Forget about investment. Wait until you have a model that works and that you've got revenue coming in. Keep your costs very, very low and just go for it.